Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on the one-directional nature of a relationship with a narcissist or a psychopath. In other words, one-directional means there's somebody who is overtly or covertly controlling in the relationship, manipulative, deceitful, cunning, and using these sort of sundry tactics to make you feel less than or under the control and therefore emotionally manipulated by this person. And as you must understand, one of the healthy tenets of psychological behavior and wellness is control over your emotions. It's the ability to be in touch with your feelings, know your feelings, know your boundaries, know your rights, and really know what you are comfortable with. In other words, like Plato, know thyself. And also to understand that you have the ability, right, to be in control of your emotions, your feelings. And an emotional manipulator, such as a narcissist or psychopath, will have you to forget this tenet, have you to forget this reality. They will have you to believe in a one-directional manner that they essentially have right to you, your feelings, your emotions, your behaviors, and your values. And that through this takeover, through this control, through this violation of boundaries, essentially this is how the narcissist or psychopath will relate to others. And in terms of realizing how the brain works, the brain can very much work as an eraser. If there is something very painful, very uncomfortable, very psychologically threatening or intimidating, the brain will oftentimes try to erase it out. It'll try to negate it and live in denial. And so if you are in a relationship with a psychopath or a narcissist, someone who is using subtle, covert, or even very overt manipulation tactics to take and distract you over through your time, your attention, your values, your self-esteem, if these are taken over, you will oftentimes be very much prey to them, or very much at the receiving end of a lot of one-directional commands and sort of treatments where there's going to be a very difference of hierarchy in the relationship. And it's not a subtle difference. It'll become very clear to you as the relationship continues, where if you are feeling controlled, manipulated by this person, it is for their interest and not in your best interest. And a lot of people are so wrought with denial, identity confusion, or identification with this person. They are so traumatically bonded that they don't know how to get back to the drawing board for themselves, their own rules, their own rights, their own feelings, their own vision of a happy future for themselves. They're so connected like glue, like a toxic glue to this person, that they are now believing that they can't stand up for themselves. They don't have a right, they don't have a voice, they don't have a presence in the relationship, or when they do, they become very people-pleasing. They live for the validation from this one-directional relationship. In other words, they're waiting for the words, you're a good, you are a good daughter, you are a good son, you are a good husband, you are a good spouse, you're a good wife. They're waiting for this approval. They are acting and directing all of their energy, their thoughts, behaviors, and emotions towards really receiving those words from a person, oftentimes who is not in a position to validate you, love you, support you, nurturing, or really acknowledging you, validating you in this positive way. Because why? Because if they can get you into a vulnerable position where you are not feeling less than, or where you are feeling less than and you are not feeling equal to, or really in your empowered zone, in that place where you can laugh, be happy, be fulfilled, live your life in the natural rhythm that is meant for you, if they can disrupt that, distract that, and make you feel constantly distracted and constantly in battlement with them in this traumatic bond, then the narcissist has you where they want you, basically in their palm. You know, they can basically call the shots, and this gives them a great sense of power, superiority, and it's a very psychologically maladaptive situation. It can become very malignant and very destructive. As you can imagine, if someone is taking over your emotions, your thoughts, your behaviors, your self-assessment of yourself, and it is not in your best interest, and they're exploiting you from this, and they're taking your time, your energy, your money, your thoughts, and they're eroding you constantly, especially judging, belittling you, and corrupting your self-evaluation of yourself. In other words, you know, when it's not so funny anymore. In other words, when it becomes, well, you know, all the lashing out. I call it the, you know, emotional backhanding, the emotional slap in the face. You know, oh, you know, and always very sarcastic, pointed, sardonic, and almost sort of a black humor, a dark humor. You know, oh, well, you did a great job, you know, cleaning the floor, and they'll be, you know, pointing, you know, that you didn't get this and this crumb, you know, even though you just, you know, had a great day at work, you just, you know, completed all sorts of chores, or you did something good for yourself. You know, here comes the insults and comments to try to take you down from your throne, take you down from your horse of happiness. You're basically trotting along, and then here's going to come the comments, the backhanded, looks, you know, and a lot of people get immune and anesthetized to this, and they don't realize that, you know, eventually on some level, this is going to affect you. A lot of people try to man up or woman up and say, you know, I'm tough, you know, I need to be spoken to in this way. Well, it's not so funny, you know, when you come out, you know, the other end with alcoholism, drug abuse. You know, you're fired from your job, or you're let go from your job, and you can't support yourself, and this person just backhands you all the way to the doghouse, basically. And it's not there when the going gets tough. You know, it's not there for you to be supportive, nurturing, and a good listener, and listen with the heart. You know, this is basically the behaviors of empathy. And so, you know, if you are encountering somebody who has this pathological sense of self-importance and needs to downgrade you constantly and incessantly, and it's, you know, you're constantly having to react and respond to this person rather than really staying on the path of happiness. You know, a lot of people will make excuses for this person. This is just who they are, but not realize that deep inside it will be affecting you on some level, especially the subconscious level. Well, this is what I deserve. You know, I deserve to be mistreated. I've been this way my whole life. I deserve to be talked to. I have something wrong with me. You know, all these negative self-assessments, which then is negatively affirming to you, or negatively validating to you, or invalidating to you, is causing you to stay in a relationship which is destructive, which is eventually dangerous and hazardous. So if you see this going on, use this as a wake-up call to say, wow, I've been taking too much on a one-directional level, and this is not happy, healthy, or functional for me anymore. I really want to be able to live in a happy space, a functional space, and not have to hear all these negative, erroneous messages. Learn to draw the line, learn to draw the boundary, and create a space where you're living your life uninterrupted, especially from these negative, erroneous messages, oftentimes at the hand of a person who would seek to control you from this space, especially in a very one-directional, negative, judgmental, highly critical nature and position. It's peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.